Yo, what's up, guys? Welcome to our new channel. I'm Alex, and this is Jaden.
Welcome to Jar Entertainment, and today we are going to be telling you our favorite scenes from every MCU movie.
Before we get started, just know that this is our opinion and based on how we interpret these scenes. If you have any different favorite scenes, let us know down in the comments, and let's get right into it.
Starting at phase one, we have Iron Man. So my favorite scene from Iron Man is the cave escape scene. It's just so awesome seeing the Iron Man suit, Iron Man Mark 1, just for the first time on the big screen. It's just so amazing. The CGI is just so amazing. It still holds up really well to this day. And it's just an awesome scene in general.
Yeah, that's right. And my favorite scene is the construction of the suit and the first suit up. All right, so I just really like how the forging of the suit. I just took it as like a metaphor for like Tony Stark forging like this new persona, getting rid of all this disregard of the consequences of the weapons he was creating with Stark Industry, and turning into the Iron Man we know, and wanting to protect people, but of course he still maintains his ego. But that's just Iron Man. Also love the music, and Iron Man's just babe. We love Iron Man. Now,
True,
moving on to
true.
the next movie, we got Hulk. Now,
The Incredible Hulk.
yeah, not one of Marvel's best films. One of really cool scene was the Harlem fight. That was a really cool scene. Seeing Abomination and Hulk just duke it out. That was also pretty cool.
Then also we got the Hulk smash, and that was just awesome.
That
And
was
I
that
was like,
was
it's
good.
one of the few times we actually get to see a good Hulk
Yeah,
in the MCU.
yeah.
It just went downhill after that. All right. Anyway, next movie we got Iron Man 2. For both of our favorite scenes, we have the Monaco fight from
Too good.
also known as the raceway racetrack fight. It's just an awesome scene. Like, I have a lot of issues about the movie, but this scene is not one of them. It's just so awesome seeing Iron Man suit up with the suitcase, and music is awesome. CGI still holds up extremely well to this day. Whiplash is just badass in that scene. It's just an awesome scene.
It
And it's
is.
a really good fight scene.
It's a good scene. Now, movie number four, we got the first Thor movie. Both of us really love that movie. My favorite scene in particular is when Loki falls off the Bifrost. It's a very emotional scene for me, as behind all of Loki's evilness, he's not really a bad guy. He comes from a desperate attempt of being accepted by his father and his brother. I just really emotionally connected to that scene, and I love Loki. He is my little crush, but it is what it is.
And so I wasn't really a fan of this movie. It was kind of hard to find a favorite scene for me. But one scene I really, really enjoyed was the scene where Loki finds out the truth about where he came from. It's just a really good scene. Tom Hiddleston's performance in it is really great. And then also Anthony Hopkins is just amazing as always. It's just really heartbreaking to see Loki
Yeah,
finding
yeah.
out his true past.
I feel bad for that
That's
guy,
really
honestly.
good.
Feel bad for Loki. But anyways, next scene, next movie we have is the first Avenger. So Jaden, why don't you tell us about your scene?
So my favorite scene from the first Avenger, Captain America: The First Avenger, is the grenade scene. The scene where Steve jumps on the grenade. It just instantly shows us Steve's character, and it's just Steve is my favorite character in the MCU. So just seeing that first
Fair,
scene
fair.
where he just sacrifices himself to stop the grenade, it just shows how pure he is in the
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
exactly. But yeah, just
Anyway,
like with my scene as well, my favorite scene is the Steve sacrifice scene where he takes the ship down into the water where he will be frozen for 70 years. Another emotional scene, and another scene that very well illustrates Steve's selflessness and how he's always willing to put himself before others. Just really cool. Like Jaden, Steve is a very cool character, but maybe not my favorite.
fair, fair. All right, moving into the next movie, the end of Phase One, The Avengers.
Let's be real here.
Probably the best.
Yeah,
best MC, the best MCU movie at the time
yeah.
for some people. For me, it was Iron Man, but it's still an
I love
amazing
this
movie.
movie. Yeah,
Anyway, for both of us, it's obvious. The
yeah.
Avengers Assemble scene
It's
is
awesome.
seeing all the six
Awesome.
Avengers. Just I don't have to explain it. If you've seen the scene, you know.
Exactly.
Anyway,
Like I
next
said,
movie.
it's awesome. Uh,
Next movie we have is Iron Man 3.
so now
Now, for
moving into
both me and
phase
Alex,
two, Iron Man 3.
for both me and Alex, our favorite scene was the Iron Legion scene at the end of the third act, where all of the Iron Man suits just come up to the rescue. It's just awesome seeing all of the suits. Like, I remember when I first saw it, I was just going through the scene, trying to figure out which suit was which.
Yeah,
It's just awesome. The
it was
music
so
is
cool.
awesome, and it's just a really awesome scene.
It was a good scene. I love that one. It was good. Yeah, and I also when I saw it, I just thought of it like like think about it now. Start growing as a character, and releasing the suits, kind of way symbolizing that like, the suits isn't what makes him Iron Man. It's him as a character, and I thought it was really cool. But now moving on to the next movie, we got Thor: The Dark World. Um, I personally thought it was an okay movie. I think Jaden agrees with me here. I think
It
we
was
both have
that.
the same scene, and that's really the opening, only really memorable part of the movie for both of us. And of course, Rip Korg's relative, big up Korg. Yeah, that was sad,
All right,
but yeah,
moving on. Captain America: The Winter Soldier, said by many to be the best MCU movie and one of the best superhero movies to this day, and I have to agree, it is the best MCU movie. It is just an amazing movie, and the best scene from this movie has to go to the highway fight. There are so many amazing scenes that I could have picked, like the end of the line scene or the elevator scene, but this scene is just it just takes action scenes to the next level. This fight scene is one of the best action scenes of any movie or TV show in history, as one of the best scenes in any superhero movie or TV show. Only beaten by Daredevil, and
yeah, that's fair.
Daredevil has
Yeah,
some amazing fights. So if this fight is on par with Daredevil, then you know it's a good fight.
mm,
And also, it's just amazing seeing Cap and Bucky just duke it out. Choreography is amazing. Music is amazing. It doesn't have any extremely fast cuts. You can clearly see the action, and it's just this is probably one of my favorite scenes in the entire MCU.
yeah, definitely. So yeah, moving up to the next movie. Of course, we got the iconic Guardians of the Galaxy. Now, my favorite scene in this movie is, of course, the We Are Groot scene. This scene is so sad. Probably one of the few scenes in Marvel has made that I've cried. But oh well, this scene to me is, in my opinion, the birth of the Guardians of the Galaxy, as it really shows them united, not as a team, but as a family, willing to go down together. It's really emotional. Love that scene so much.
That would have been my favorite scene, but it was only overtaken by one other scene, which is the dance off scene.
That's so
Like the
funny.
We Are Groot scene
That's so
is such a
funny.
beautiful scene, but for me, the dance off scene just takes the cake. It is such a good scene. It's so in character with Peter Quill. It's such a creative way to defeat the villain, I guess, or distract him. But it's just an extremely funny scene, and it fits so well with the tone of the movie.
Yeah, I gotta agree with you. It was a very funny scene. But moving on to the next movie, we got Age of Ultron. All right. Now, Jaden, why don't you tell us about your scene?
My favorite scene from Age of Ultron is the Hulk versus Hulkbuster scene.
Too
I
good.
don't really have to explain anything about this. It's Hulk versus Hulkbuster. What more do you want? This scene is just amazing.
Yeah.
I don't need to explain. But Alex, what's your favorite scene?
Uh, I personally loved the Vision versus Ultron. That last little scene where they were just both standing in the woods talking about it. I thought it was such a beautiful scene, as both Ultron and Vision realize that humanity does not want to be saved, at least not the way Ultron seems fit to be seen. And Vision's quick response shows how noble he is compared to Ultron, because as they both gain an understanding of humanity, only one really realizes the worth of fighting for humanity, and saving it essentially. I thought it was really cool. Love that scene. One of the most beautiful scenes I've seen in Marvel. And yeah, moving on to the next movie, of course, we have got Ant-Man. This movie was, it was okay. It was a good movie. Both of us really enjoyed the Ant-Man versus Falcon scene. We thought it was pretty cool. It was funny. But yeah, nothing too special about it. But yeah, that's really it for Ant-Man.
All right, moving on to the next movie, we have Captain America: Civil War. This is definitely my top 3 favorite MCU movies,
Yeah, definitely.
and there are many great scenes, but the number 1 scene from this movie has to go Cap and Buck versus Tony.
Of course.
It's emotional. It's a really good fight. The music is just amazing, and it's just awesome. It's such a sad scene to see Cap and Tony that used to be great friends now fighting each other almost to the death, I guess. Tony was trying to kill Bucky. Cap and Tony want to try to kill each other, but it's just an amazing scene.
Yeah, totally. I 100% agree with Jaden. That scene was just so emotional, so good. I really enjoyed that scene as well. Yeah, 100% agree. So,
moving on to Doctor Strange.
Yes, Doctor Strange.
So, what was your favorite scene, Alex?
My favorite scene, Jaden, was the astral dimension talk. Now, hear me out, guys. This was a really cool scene. How the two characters, talk about the value of life and allows the chosen one to teach Doctor Strange one more lesson. Now, this lesson was maybe not relating to the secrets of the universe or the source of extreme power, but the realization that existence is fragile. And for Doctor Strange to realize that he needs to look way beyond his ego, way past himself, but instead of look at the value of existence and the importance of defending it, really making him the Sorcerer Supreme, which is why I love this scene so much. It's a cool scene. What about you, Jaden?
My favorite scene from Doctor Strange is the "I've come to bargain" scene. It is another extremely creative way to defeat the villain. Instead of just, you're dead.
Exactly.
It shows that Doctor Strange's intelligence to outsmart the villain, and just basically, it's also like great character development for Strange. So for the whole movie, he's shown as someone that's selfish, careless. When this scene, it shows he is willing to suffer for who knows how long to save the world. It's just a really great scene, and CGI is probably the best CGI in the entire MCU, and it's just amazing.
Yeah, I gotta agree with that. It's a really cool scene. Next movie, we got Guardians of the Galaxy 2, another really good movie. Both Jaden and I agreed on a favorite scene, and that is Yondu's funeral. It was very sad, very, very sad. Another one of the few scenes that have made me cry. Guardians of the Galaxy really have my heart here. It's a very sad scene. The ships had got really cool lights. I really enjoyed it. And of course, it was the fall of Mary Poppins, y'all. So, got to be the saddest death out there so far.
I agree. So, our next movie, we have Spider-Man Homecoming. Wasn't really a fan of it, but I can agree with Alex that the best scene from this movie is the lifting the rubble scene. As a comic fan, it was amazing seeing that scene portrayed on the big screen.
That was cool.
One of the best scenes of comics, and also the best scene in this movie.
Yeah, it's awesome.
And it's a really great scene for Spider-Man.
Yeah. I loved it so much. But yeah, I agree with Jaden. It was just inspirational. That's just how it is. But yeah, next movie is Ragnarok. Now, both Jaden and I also agreed in the same scene here, which was, Odin's little death. It was very sad, very sad. But, we also saw it as how, Loki and Thor are now, that scene was them being really unchained from their restraints of fate, of always trying to pursue Odin's approval for things, and now they can finally create their own path and really become their own characters, which was also really cool to see. And of course, Hela came in there and just destroyed Mjolnir. That was also super cool. Literally, my jaw dropped there. That was insane. But yeah, it was really cool. So what's the next movie, Jaden?
Next movie is Black Panther. So, what was your favorite scene, Alex?
Oof, my favorite scene. This was a very hard movie to pick. Favorite scene. I enjoyed a lot of scenes, you know. But if I had to give it one, I'd give it the sunset scene with Killmonger and Black Panther. That was a very emotional scene again. You know, this time it didn't make me cry, but it was a good scene. I just really enjoyed the sunset. Honestly, it was a hard movie to pick a favorite scene, but if I had to pick one, it would probably be the sunset scene. What about you, Jaden?
My favorite scene is the scene where T'Challa visits T'Chaka in the ancestral plane and confronts him about leaving, like turning their back on the rest of the world. For me, that scene my favorite, mainly because of Chadwick Boseman's performance.
Hmm.
Chadwick, I cannot.
Chadwick
Chadwick
Boseman.
Boseman
Jaden, let's go. That's it.
is an amazing actor, and he is just he's so great.
This is awesome.
The music is also very good in the scene, probably the best music in the entire MCU,
Oh yeah,
and it's just such a good looking scene.
yeah, for sure, definitely. Yeah. Next movie we have is Infinity War. Arguably, probably the best MCU movie there. It is just so good. This movie is so good. My favorite scene is, of course, the iconic "I Don't Feel So Good" scene, where Spider-Man got blipped. If you haven't seen that scene, I don't want to talk to you. Just leave. But you know, this scene is so sad, and it captures a father and son relationship. You know, Stark and Peter have. It was just a great scene. I loved it so much. What about you, Jaden?
My favorite scene from Infinity War is Thor's arrival on Wakanda. This is just one of the most epic scenes in the entire
Yeah.
MCU.
Yeah,
I'm mainly going to
definitely.
give credit to the music. Alan Silvestri's score in this scene is just
Yeah,
it's just top tier.
Yeah.
It's just amazing.
it's just
And
amazing.
also Thor with Stormbreaker is just badass.
But you know, now moving to such a great movie to be honest, in our opinion, a not
Not
very
a great
great
movie. Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Yeah.
This is probably one of my least favorite MCU movies.
Yeah,
And I would say one of the most forgettable MCU movies. It was really hard to pick a scene from this movie because I'm gonna be honest, I don't really remember most of the scenes
yeah, me too.
except for the kitchen fight scene. That was probably the only scene from the MCU that I like somewhat remembered.
Yeah, that was
It's not a bad
pretty
scene.
cool.
It's a pretty solid fight scene.
Yeah.
Very creative.
Yeah,
But I just yeah,
yeah.
it's just kind of yeah.
But moving on to another really mad movie is Captain Marvel. Neither of us, you know, really particularly loved this movie.
In
But
my
you
opinion,
know,
this is the worst MCU movie. I did
The
not like
best?
this movie at all.
did you say the best MCU movie?
No, the worst.
Oh, okay. Oh, man's chipping in. Okay, yeah, no. All right, yeah, yeah. I would.
Yeah, my
agree
favorite
with
scene
Jaden
from
there.
this movie, it was extremely hard to pick a favorite scene from this movie because I'm not gonna lie, I did not enjoy any of it. But the one part that I did enjoy the most, I guess, was the train fight. Like, mm, I just didn't know what else to pick. This was one of the only scenes that I remember from the movie. So
Yeah, yeah. With Jaden, the train fight scene was really cool. But thinking about it now, a scene I did really enjoy, or at least I enjoyed, was, you know, Captain Marvel versus Supreme Intelligence. You know, the I thought that was pretty cool. You know, Captain Marvel finally breaking free of the Supreme Intelligence, you know, manipulation and grasp, which I thought was pretty cool. But you know, like Jaden said, there was nothing really special. But yeah, but now getting rid of
moving
these
on
trash
to
movies
the
to another amazing movie. Jaden, say it with me.
Avengers
Endgame.
Endgame.
Endgame. This movie is just amazing. Jaden, why don't you tell them our favorite scene?
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I'm not the biggest fan of this movie. I don't think it's that great, but there are some really amazing scenes in it. And my favorite scene from this movie has to be the worthy Cap scene. Captain America's my favorite character, and just seeing him holding Mjolnir, it's just such an amazing scene to see.
Hmm.
And Alex has the same opinion as me.
Yeah, definitely. But I do love
It's
this
just
movie.
an amazing scene.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Jaden, what's the next movie we got here?
Next movie we got Spider-Man: Far From Home. Another
Yes.
movie that I'm not the biggest fan of. I'm not the biggest fan of the MCU Spider-Man movies. I'm more of a Raimi fan, but I could still appreciate scenes
Mm.
from the MCU Spider-Man movies. And the best scene from Far From Home for me and Alex is the last scene, the last fight scene between Spider-Man and Mysterio. Just seeing Spider-Man use his Spidey sense in this movie to take down Mysterio is such an amazing scene because throughout the entire MCU, he's never really relied on his Spidey sense
Mm.
mostly. Like there's some scenes, but it could have been done a lot better. But in this
Yeah.
scene, he just using his Spidey sense, take out all the drones, and then figure out that Mysterio was an illusion, and that the real Mysterio was pointing a gun at his head. That was such an amazing scene for me. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, that was so cool. That was cold, bro. That movie was just too sick. But yeah, but currently now in phase 4, let's get started with WandaVision. Now WandaVision had a very strong start. Both me and Jenny here had a very strong start. The TV show. It dropped off a bit, but overall it was a pretty good. It was okay. It was a good TV show. I really enjoyed it. My favorite scene was in the finale, the Ship of Theseus discussion between uh Vision and White Vision. I thought it was pretty cool. It was a cool philosophical discussion about identity. One of the more memorable scenes for me. But yeah, it was a really cool scene. There was a few other scenes I would have picked, but yeah, I enjoyed that scene.
My favorite scene would have to be the argument between Wanda and Vision in episode 5. Episode 5 is probably my favorite episode of WandaVision.
Mm,
Definitely my favorite episode of WandaVision.
mm,
And I have a lot of problems with that show, but episode 5 is not one of them. That was such an amazing episode. And the argument scene between Wanda and Vision was just extremely well acted. And it's only boosted by the reveal at the end.
mm.
Reveal, it was ruined in the finale, but it was still amazing at the time seeing Evan Peters, Quicksilver, just
Oh
show up
yeah,
at the door. It was so awesome.
they honestly they wasted him with the Max Boner joke. They literally just used him for a little dick
Ralph
joke.
Boner.
Ralph Boner, that's the name, not Max Boner. Ralph Boner. But yeah, that was a waste. But anyways, moving on to the next TV show that Marvel released, which you can see on the Disney Plus, is Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Now, this was another okay TV show. I enjoyed it. I think Jaden enjoyed it. But we both agree that our favorite scene is when John kills the Flag Smasher. This is really good character development for John as a character. It was really cool, and it was really a symbolic moment of how the symbol of hope behind the shield, and essentially the title of being Captain America is being tainted and destroyed by John Walker, and the fact that just Bucky and the Falcon is just watching from the background. It's just a really cool scene. I really enjoyed this scene. Oh,
This was probably my favorite scene. This in the entire MCU.
yeah.
Well, one of my favorite scenes in the entire MCU. Is such a great scene from
Mm,
from the best episode of Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
mm,
Especially the episodes were just
mm.
not great, but this episode was really good,
Yeah, it was
and
a really good episode.
it's only boosted by this scene.
Yeah, loved it. Next we have Loki. Now this is a very very good. In my opinion, I really really enjoyed this TV show. It was super cool. Loki is one of my favorite characters, so him getting a standalone TV show was really cool. But my favorite scene was at the end, when Loki and Sylvie were fighting it out in front of Kang, but it wasn't, they didn't drop the Kang word, but we all know it's Kang the Conqueror, of course. But Loki versus Sylvie was just a super cool scene, and it just like really well illustrated Sylvie's desire for revenge and Loki's desire for a purpose, and how at the end they were ultimately destined to betray each other because of their own wants and basically them just being Lokis. It was a really cool scene. I really enjoyed that scene. What about you, Jaden? I already know what you're gonna say.
My favorite scene from Loki. I'm not gonna lie. It was hard to pick a favorite scene from this show. It's not a bad show. It's honestly one of the best MCU projects, but there was nothing that really extremely stood out to me. It was all just pretty solid overall, but nothing amazing. But one scene that I did really like was a scene where classic Loki builds the entirety of Asgard in
Yes.
episode 5. That was such an awesome scene.
That was
Classic
so cool.
Loki is just
Yeah.
amazing. The music is some of the best music in the MCU,
Mm.
and CGI was really amazing. It was just so awesome.
Yeah, that scene was super cool. The show in general was super cool. It had a really cool a lot of really cool Easter eggs. You know, it had the uh Throg, Easter egg. It also had the Thanos copter Easter egg. It had a lot of really cool Easter eggs. I really enjoyed that show. But movie. Oh my god. Yeah.
Next movie,
Jaden, please take it.
the latest MCU project other than What If, Black Widow.
Yeah, Black Widow.
This is tied for my least favorite movie in the MCU, and this tied for the worst movie in the MCU in my opinion.
Yeah.
I don't hate many movies. Like there's few movies that I genuinely hate. This is one of them. This is one of the movies that I genuinely hate. I'm gonna save my hatred for this movie for another video.
But yeah.
I'm gonna talk about my favorite scene in the movie, which is the opening scene. This is the only scene in the movie that I actually somewhat enjoyed. I thought it was pretty cool seeing the whole family undercover, but we didn't really know that.
Yeah.
But I thought it was a really good scene.
Yeah. That was a
And it was
very cool scene. Yeah.
The rest of the movie.
Yeah. No, but yeah, a scene I enjoyed was just every Black Widow vs Taskmaster scene. I thought those scenes were really cool. In particular, the final fight. I like that scene, but like Jane said, it's nothing special really. But it is what it is. What if it's still gone? Probably we can even make some videos on that. But that's our favorite scene so far for Black Widow. But yeah, overall, all right, guys, that's the end of our list. So thank you so much for staying the whole video. If you did, and if you enjoyed, please like and share. Don't forget to subscribe, as we on the road for the big 100 subscribers. Oh, and of course, go check out our Instagram, which will be down in the description below. So I hope you have a nice day, and peace out.
Bye bye.